Woman with diagnosed ADHD and certified life coach, I approve this message. So watching this content creator and just the way she explained it on this video was so genuine, so real, and so vulnerable. So I really want to take the time to appreciate this content creator for showing her vulnerability, because I think as neurodivergents, like, besides the other struggles that we go through, a big struggles that we have are guilt and shame. So in this video, you could see very well, as neurodivergents, we tend to mask on such a deep level. So I'm aware that neurotypicals mask too, in work, in network places. But the thing is, us neurodivergents, we mask on such a deep level because we have that strong fear of rejection, and because by, having our quirks or STEM, being so honest and direct and blunt tends to be seen, unfortunately, as rude, as inconsiderate, selfish, and weird. So the thing is, with us neurodivergents, we mask so heavily, but at the same time, we get to a point where if we're feeling overstimulated and we're not in a safe space, either we stim or we disassociate, like this content creator showed very well. Disassociation is basically where you completely remove yourself from the situation because your nervous system feels like feels the anxiety, the overwhelm, and like it's in danger. So your parasympathetic system kicks in and overall tries to regulate your nervous system. So I also experienced this dissociation, and it happened to me actually this weekend. So I was invited by a friend to a Christmas gathering, and we unfortunately, when it comes to family gatherings, people drink, and this was my first time meeting, like my friend's family. So, people drink heavily, people start getting loud, and it got to a point where I was very overstimulated. And, a few people were like, hey, are you okay? Because I guess it was pretty obvious on my face that I was disassociating when I was trying so well to mask, with the nod, the awkward smile, stimming in place to try to regulate my nervous system. But it got to a point where they were getting so loud because, again, when people drink, it's never known what could happen when people drink. So people were getting loud, rude, unfortunately, and got to a point where I had to disassociate, and I got so overstimulated to the point where I knew I was about to have a meltdown. So I texted my mom. Shout out to my mom. I texted her. I said, hey, can you pretend that there's an emergency and that I have to leave? So she called me and she's like, hey, I know you're at a party, but I need you to come home. And I was like, oh, okay. Are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'll tell you about it when you're here. And I'm like, okay. So then I was like, okay, you guys, I'm so sorry. I have, my mom just called and I need to go back home. And they're like, oh, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. And because we're not good at lying, so I'm like, everything's fine. I just, need to go home to help my mom with something. They're like, okay, because I know myself, and if I become overstimulated, I'm going to have a complete meltdown. So I really admire the courage this content creator had to post how a visual of disassociation, how uncomfortable us neurodivergents can get when masking. And just as someone that just went through this weekend, I approve this message. So as a diagnosed woman with ADHD and certified life coach, I approve this message.